Hi, how's it going? I didn't do a video for the last few days because I've been working and real hard, I guess, too hard. And I can't do a video whenever I want because I got my roommates in there all the time popping out. Here's my train of thought. But my roommate gone for a week to DC, so I gets to hang out here all alone. That's pretty dope. Here's where I am now. I got to does that, and then I'm done. So, and then I can, I have to number them. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how like quickly that goes by. But yeah, definitely want to do it now. It would suck to have to do it later, you know, to not tie it up. And you do need want to number them because it makes it way easier to create the stuff after. Yeah, at this point, I'm kind of thinking maybe I want to do the U.S. law code after this because it's another one of those like big ass projects that, and I don't really care right now because I've been smoking so much weed about making my website look good. You know, like the front page of my website or the education page of my website. My computer couldn't upload some icons, and I don't have any idea why, because there was nothing wrong with the number, the name. And so I made it so that there's a bunch of icons on my timeline on my education page that are like not linked. It's just the image that's saying that there's an image here that's not linked, and then it's warped, pushed out because it was like the wrong size or something. But I was gonna fix it, but then I got kind of distracted and. Yeah, at this point, I don't even care. And then the other stuff, word counting and all that kind of stuff. I don't care about any of that because, or at least right now, because I'm kind of super duper ambitious. But anyway, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because, yeah, I've got like another month to go before I'm even done with this. But I was just watching YouTube videos. Man, I guess there's all kinds of like discoveries and stuff, archaeologicals. I saw a video yesterday, fucking can't remember the name of the channel, Mystery History? I don't know. But he even numbered, I need to go and watch, at least do a screen capture. I didn't even do the screen capture. But there's 18, he listed on the screen, 18 different sites around the world that have antediluvian tracings, like the markings on the rocks, and those gigantic like head of a man, body of a bull that they brought to London that are giant, and there's still a couple. I guess those are antediluvian, and the Sphinx and 18 different places. Like, whoa, that's cool, man. So now, yeah, antediluvian, all this archaeology and like buildings that you know is when you look at it, you know. That's makes it history. And then, of course, 19 with Atlantis that I found. You should check it out because on my website, that's the Temple of Poseidon. But right next to it is this perfectly like square, you know, a foundation, perfect square, and it's the same exact size as the pyramid of Chichen Itza. But oh, and the Temple of Poseidon, the clear side that you can see is the same exact width that Plato said it would be. That's how I know that that's the width, and the length is the part that comes down that goes into the mud. But and it's in the same exact location. It's right in the middle of a circle, which is right in the middle of another circle. And both of those circles, especially the outer circle, are the same exact size that Plato said. It's the same exact distance from the shore that he said, and it's the same exact location in the island, he said, and the island is the same exact size and shape, as he said, and location. So I'm here like laughing my face off. I'm laughing my head off at everybody. Everybody's freaking retarded. I've been commenting on every single one of these YouTube videos. And I'm like, you morons, you fools. And I put the location of it. Not a single person replied. Dude, I guarantee you. Look in my eyes. Hear me now, quote me later. 100%. In 10 years, when everybody knows that that's Atlantis, I guarantee you, everybody is going to be scratching their head wondering how they could have been so stupid, not knowing that that was, like, that's obvious. How did it take them so long? And I'm here, like, and I'm telling everybody, and nobody even cares. So anyway, it's just funny. I'm freaking hilarious. Anyways, and then I've been watching this video about right now, actually, of the new Mars perceiver. And I guess he found, like, some green rock, but again, that didn't get that far in the video. And, yeah, because last night I was listening to Athanasius, and these videos they're talking about, we're talking about, like, Apollonius of Tyana, so I want to read those books on my website again. But, because I'm reading the book of Aquarius. It's written by some anonymous scholar. I don't know why they want to be anonymous. But I guess they give you instructions on how to build a Philosopher's Stone. I guess there's one underneath Adrian's house, and I think we even know where Adrian's house is. And it's built out of Atlantean piss. And I don't know if you could do a scientific, like, DNA. No, that's not DNA. But if you could make one out of yourself and then maybe compare the two if it's different, maybe you get an idea about Atlantean DNA. I don't know, but it was supposed to be, one of them was supposed to be 4 feet by 3 feet. And it had a bunch of inscriptions in it. But it gave you just directions. And I guess if you eat it, that's what makes it so you can live 700 years, like how they did in the Bible. And so I'm here like, I'm gonna research how to build it. I think I'm gonna make myself a Philosopher's Stone. And it turns into a red. Plato said that their houses were built out of white, red, and black stone. But then I think they were talking about redstone, and I think that's what the Philosopher's Stone. So anyway, oh, and then another dude in like France found one. Anyway, and then they was talking about the bulbs that never burn out. Yeah. I'm going to put it on my website, that book, because at the beginning, he's, like, asking people to do that, so. Yeah, I downloaded the PDF. So, yeah, and I'm not done with it. I'll finish it, I guess, today. Today I have to go and work. I have to, like, 2 bales of hay, 160, 320 bales of hay. My mom's going to drive me out, but I still put my car in there. So if we're at the reservoir, ride back. She doesn't want to hang out. She was hanging out with me before. There were times. Not the last time, but I get some money and I need the exercise, and I'm running out of weed, so I could use the cash to get more weed, and I need the exercise. My body's turning into mush. But I do have data, because I got one of these finally. This is only like $50. And my score is, I was just sitting here, and I don't exercise at all, like, at all. Zilcho. And for, like, years, decades and decades, my whole life. But, like, not exercising. Last 10 years, I go on maybe a dozen, maybe 7 bicycle rides a year. Last year, I went on, like, 7 bike rides or whatever, 5 or 6 or 7. And this year, I didn't go on a single bike ride. Other than, like, coasting to my mom's house. We did 2 bike rides over the last week. But, anyways, my BMI is 25.7, body fat 32.1, and I do 1,747 calories a day, so it's 25.7 BMI. I guess, corpulence, I'm corpulent. So I guess corpulence starts at 25, so if I were to just lose 0.7, I could get back into normal, so that's not so bad. And I guess the average man needs 2,500 calories a day, and I'm at 1,747. The average woman needs 2,000. So I actually I must be eating a little bit more than 1,747 if I'm slightly overweight. But I drink like 2 energy drinks a day. I don't know, and candy. But anyway, I kind of live on salads and fruit drinks. Like for breakfast I had a salad. I'm having some pickles, but I didn't almost never have pickles, and then I get fruit drinks. So, but I'm gonna be 50 on December 27th. I think 50 is a good round number to use in terms of like when you age, when you get old, because my body is kind of starting to melt away. But I'm still working, so it's not going to stop me from working on my website. I don't know, because I could get stuck in a holding pattern physically. I could be like this for another 5 years and not get worse. So anyway, there's this other project. When I do these, now I'm starting to stack up projects. Normally what I do is I'd start a new project and do a week into it and just get it started. But I kind of can't do that anymore because I have too many unfinished projects, and I'm also working on this thing, which has just got me locked in. I can't do anything. So now when I stack up projects, it's in my head. So I have to kind of remember. But I got it because I've got all these, like I want to do the ocean on the lower 48. I want to do the Halt Big Building. I want to do the Fight Mountain. I need to do the Legion on here. Well, anyways, just of the stuff that I newly made. But and then the time chart on my site. But then yesterday I got this idea to finish the Great Pyramid, because I built the Great Pyramid on Boulder, right next to the track over there on Folsom. I mean on 28th, right across the street from Scott Carpenter Park. And I was watching videos about Egypt, and I was watching all these videos about the internal wraps. They figured out how to they built the pyramids, dude. We did it. We figured out how they did it, and I guess they figured that the Great Pyramid of Giza was built in 2500 BC, 4,500 years ago, in 20 years, because the people. Oh, ow! I think I have like a hernia, dude. I pulled a muscle. Here, I'll show you. Okay. So right here, like here's my bone. This is my bone. You can't see it because I'm fat fuck, but that's my bone. And then there's the muscle under the bone, right? Okay, so that muscle, this muscle right here, okay? I think I pulled it. Just from sitting here, I just pulled it. And so now, it's always like tearing or like cramping, I guess. But yeah, dude, and it's like deep muscle, and it does that a lot, and yeah, it's been doing that for like the last month. Anyways, if I coughed, and it like totally like got injured. Anyways, that's what I'm talking about. And now my this thing came back, subcutaneous fatty lipoma. He took 13 grams out like 6, 7 years ago, and he didn't do it right. I'm the only person in the world who knows how to take lipomas out. You have to freeze them. That's what I keep telling them. when I told him that, he's like, "Oh wow, you should be a surgeon then." But anyway, or something like that. But yeah, if you freeze it, it all goes out, including the seed. If you don't get the seed, it'll grow back. So I'm gonna have somebody else do this the right way, but I can't. Or maybe I'll do it myself. I don't know. I don't know anybody who would. But anyways, it was pretty trippy because they figured out, they totally figured out how to build the freaking pyramids, dude. Because I was watching a video and this dude called History of Granite. He actually went there and he took pictures of it, and he saw the filler stones, and so he saw that they were going down in like, I think it was like 5 or it was 6 columns. So down like this, and then like that, and then like that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was like 7 different towers. So there's like 7 times 4, because there's 4 corners. 28 different stacks. 28 different teams of stacking up stones at the same time. I was actually, and then they came up with the eternal ramp idea, and they found the eternal ramp. So I started thinking, oh yes, this is what I was saying. The pyramid that they built right before the Great Pyramid of Giza, I think, was the Bent Pyramid. And they know that it took them 11 years to build the pyramid because of the inscriptions on the pyramid. Like when they inscripted, we're starting it, and they inscripted, like, we're finishing it. And the Giza pyramid is double the size of the Bent Pyramid, and so they just doubled the time. That's how I think. And so, if you're going to build it in 20 years, you have to lay a stone out every 2.5 minutes. You know, and when you hear that, you're like, oh, impossible. They couldn't do it. But then I'm thinking, I always thought it wasn't, but I'm thinking to myself now, maybe it was possible to build that whole Giza pyramid in 20 years. Because maybe it was possible to lay a stone every 2.5 minutes average. Because they just work around the clock. And you've got 8 teams working at the same time. And they found the internal ramp. They have an up ramp and a down ramp. So nobody was getting in the way of each other. It was one-way roads. And yeah, so what he saw, you know, is, so you saw the regular stones, and then you see the filler stones, which are angled like this, because they could chop them to size and then just pop them in, and it tightens it all up. And by looking at those, because he dyed them red and everything was white, you could clearly see. And so you can clearly see every time they go up in the middle. He said they would start on the edge, and then in the middle they would start a column in the middle, and then they would have 2 other columns in between. And then they would all grow, and when they meet, that's when they would plug in those little plugger stones. And it was all the exact same on all 4 sides of the pyramid, meaning there was no external ramp at the top of the pyramid, meaning how the hell did they get the stones up there? It must have been an internal ramp. And so I saw this other video, and they said that they knew how to do it with the images. So I guess they used an external ramp that was a 1/4 mile long that got it up to 43 meters, which was 75% of the volume of the whole pyramid. And then they took away that ramp and started using the internal ramp, and you can even see the holes of the internal ramp on the northeastern side of the pyramid. You see both of the holes, the up ramp and the down ramp. And they did a sound wave, and they could even see, you can see the spiral of the ramp going up on the inside of the pyramid. And so the eternal ramp would then go up and bring the stones up to the level, and they would just build the eternal ramp all the way as far as they could. Well, the eternal ramp would take it up to that level, and then the Grand Gallery is that big because they needed it to be that big to hoist the stones up. The Grand Gallery is a ramp to bring the stones up. And so they used the Grand Gallery to take up stones up to the King's Chamber. And then I didn't get to the part of the video, maybe they said it, but what I was thinking is, And then the air ducts from the king chamber, that was the ramp to take it all the way to the edge of the pyramid. And then they used one more ramp to get it as high as they could. And then they just finally, they stacked up the very top cornerstone in the middle of the pyramid. And then they built everything around it. And so I was like, oh my God, I figured out in my head, it makes perfect sense. That's how they built the pyramid, and that's how they did it in 20 years. Because when you use an internal ramp, they even found the anchor. You just drill a hole in the rock, you tie a rope around it, and then it's just one fixed anchor. And then you just pull the rocks, and they even had a counterweight to get it up to the king's chamber. So it only took like 300 guys to pull it with the aid of the counterweight. And that went down the other ramp on the outside. They showed a drawing, but yeah, you could build it because those ramps are so solid, you know, because it's actually inside the pyramid. And it's a ramp that's there that stays because it's in the pyramid. You could just literally just do one rock after the other, just. And when you look at the tunnel, those little rivets, those are to stop the stone. Like if you ever have to take a break or the rope breaks or something, you can stop the stone. And you could even see these holes underneath. That was where the workers could hide if the stone slipped down, so you don't get crushed. And so I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I have to Google Earth that, a model of that to illustrate how it was built and also in a timeline form. And I could plug that into my timeline as a representation of a generation, because it took a generation to build. You could kind of do the same thing, I guess, with the Roman Colosseum, because it took 10 years to build, but it only took double the time to build the pyramid as the Colosseum. But in a lot of ways, the Colosseum is more complex. But so I wanted to and they even had the timeline for it in here too. So I could build it like in the different stages with the time. Like this is how many years, this is where it looked at this many years, all the way to the top, and in the order. And I would build in the flat part of the pyramid, and then there's rocks coming up on the edges, and then the tower in the middle of each of the sides, and then the other towers, and then show how they connect. I wouldn't do that with every level because, well, maybe you could, because, and the ramps on the inside, and then even how they built the capstone. They wouldn't have even had to drag the capstone on the outside because it would have been flat, and then they just stacked the capstone up, and they used like a big crane to build it, and then they just plug it in, and then they just duck back down into their tunnel. So, yeah, man. But anyways, I'm not going to do that anytime soon. But I guess the pyramid was built. I should Google Earth. Wikipedia now. But I guess they know the pyramid was built in 2500 BC because of sediment inside the pyramid, between the rocks that could have only gotten there when they were building it, and that was dated to 2500 BC because there's organic material in there. So then people would be like, oh, it was the aliens that came and did it. But I'm thinking to myself, it was the Atlantean technology that taught them that they still had. We had a lot of, my hip is also really sore. I move my leg in, and I have a cute leg poem over there. But they have a, oh, God damn it, did I just lose my train of thought? The Library of Alexandria burnt down in the year 27 BC or whatever, or 56 BC or whatever, in Julius Caesar's war with the Egyptians, but it was right next to the harbor, and it got burned down, and it had they had a number of it. It was 250,000 scrolls or whatever. So there's one library that burned. The information could have been in that library. When the Byzantine Empire was taken over in 1453, For some stupid reason, the Turks burnt down their library and they lost a whole bunch of books. But that's what caused the Enlightenment, the Renaissance, because they escaped and they went to Italy, and then they brought all their books with them, and they brought back neoclassicalism in Italy, with all their new information, and the immigrants, it was like 50,000 or whatever. But that was another time where they could have lost a lot of stuff. The Library of Rome was burnt to the ground in 590 BC by the Gauls, by the French. When they took over Rome, they sacked Rome before Rome's kicked them out again, but they burnt all of their books, including the history of Rome. They had to rewrite it from memory, Livy, for the last 250 years before that. But and then Egypt was so long ago, they would have lost stuff too. And so 2500 BC, dude, there were a lot of books in existence then. They knew a lot of stuff then that we don't now. One interesting thing that I was about Egypt and Atlantis is that Egypt pretty much is Atlantis. Like, if you want to picture in your head what Atlantis was, what Atlantis looked like, all you have to do is picture Egypt, because Herodotus went to Egypt to Sais, and the Sais told him that they had fathered the son lineage for 336 of them, and the average was about three a century, 33 years. That's how old my mom was when I was born. And so he traced it 9,000 years, the same distance back as what Plato said at the end of the Younger Dryas, and so that's when the Atlanteans, same thing, Jewish diaspora, the Byzantinian diaspora causing the Enlightenment. Well, the Atlantean diaspora, after the destruction of Atlantis, caused enlightenment in Egypt 10,000 years ago. Because Herodotus, when he went to Sais, the Egyptians at Sais told Herodotus that everything in culture of Egypt, the music, for example, the music and the art and the dance, everything was exactly the same as it was 10,000 years before that. To quote him exactly, that's what he said. So 10,000 years, well, that means when the Atlanteans came, and that's when it begun, because he said 10,000, so, and exactly the same, so Egypt is Atlantis. It's the same. Like, if you want to picture what an Atlantean king looked like, just picture a pharaoh with the little cap on the goatee and everything. And the little scepter, that's Atlantis. It's all the same. If you look at the roof at Egypt with those little star diagrams and the designs on the wall, same exact designs on Atlantis. It's Atlantis. So it's pretty cool. Like, if you look at all that archaeology, we're starting, pre-antediluvian 10,000 years ago isn't just legend, but now it's actually history. Obviously not to most people, but like when it becomes history to you, that's pretty cool. And then, because then you can see, it'll be mainstream pretty soon because it's obvious. But I shouldn't eat while I do video. But anyway, yeah. So I'm jazzed. I'm gonna finish these videos in the book when I do the hay baling. But I'm like, I'm not used to exercise, dude. Like, I did this a few months ago, and I deliberately went to sleep at like midnight. I would have tried to work, but I got barely done with the part that I got to with my eyes open, so I figured that would be a good time to go to sleep. Yeah, and I had a little bit of insomnia. It wasn't that bad. And I got up at like 8 this morning, but I think I don't want to work on my computer. I think I'm just going to, because I don't really have an appetite, because I barely eat. I think I'm just going to kind of graze and try to fill my belly. They just lay in bed, and then have my mom pick me up at like 1 or whatever, and then we go over there to do the hay baling, just to make it as easy as possible. I don't want to feel any physical discomfort. Yeah, and then I'll come back and do that. I had like 9 columns of those, of the 20 people across, to go down like I think it's 50 down. So I think I could do like at least 2 a day. So I figure, yeah, only like 4 or 5 more days. So isn't that cool? Oh, look, almost a half hour. Well, that's because I haven't done a video for the last like few days. But so yeah, man, I'm powering through, and I'm interested to see how long this will take compared to how long it took me to trace them. I think it was 50 days. So I don't know how long this guy hasn't really been keeping track. So maybe I think it's a little bit less. But I think so. Yeah, and then I get doing the numbers and see how long that takes. So yeah, I'm glad I'm able to push forward. Huh. And yeah, my little Savannah monitor, you know, I see him every once in a while. He's not really growing. Oh wait, is that him? No, I only see him like at night. He's not really growing. I guess that's a good thing because it means I have to spend as much money on food. I spent $56 frickin' on like 1,000 dubia roaches because I wanted to start a colony, and like 1,000 worms because I wanted to start a colony. That's my colony up there. I have 13 of those little boxes, and then the other worm box. But and they all have heat pads underneath. But like, they said that I did the address wrong, which I didn't. And then they said that I would have to go to the place to pick it up, UPS, and I don't have a car. And they said it never came. And then I went over and I checked the mail, and it came, but it had come like way before, and I could smell it even in the street, standing in the street. They were all dead. And then I put it out and it froze the next day, so they're all dead. So I think I'm gonna get the dead bodies and just throw them in my cage just so that the other ones can eat it. But there's $53 down the drain, and so I have to buy them at the pet store. But luckily it's right next to the supermarket, so. But it's $20 for like a little carton of it. But luckily they don't live that. I think they last kind of a long. But some of them escape. Like I saw worms escape twice. At one point I saw a super worm inside of my ferret's mouth. I had to take it out and throw it back in the cage. And I've caught a couple of dubia roaches that got away, and crickets all the time escape. But right, because that's my cage. It's not exactly. There's only like 6 inches of glass that they have to climb, and there's that ramp there that ramp there. My tegu would be hanging out at the ramp. Like she's so cute. Like I'd get up, the tegu would be disappeared. I'd look in, the tegu would be looking out of his little hole in the ground at me. I go get something, I look back, and then the tegu would be on the ramp, like just waiting for me to open. So then I open the ramp, and then I come back, and the tegu would be like on the ground running around and stuff. And then he'd go straight to my room and hide under my rug. He wanted to be like next to me, like my ferret. He's so cute. Anyway, yeah, one of these days I'm gonna renovate this place and do more. You know, I have the idea to have I'm gonna get a bearded dragon and a green iguana and another little rodent, like a horde hedgehog or something up there. But the green iguana, I mean the bearded dragon's going to be able to run over the whole house on top of those inside of chicken wire to hang out with all the other animals and stuff. That's pretty dope. And the green iguana's going to be in the ceiling in my room, so, and this whole big network on the whole ceiling, but not above my bed so he can poop on me. But anyway, that's enough talking. Yeah, I'm just going to graze a little bit more, eat some more. I think I'm just going to lie down, dude. I don't want to be, yeah, you know, I could use with some extra sleep anyway, dude, you know. And yeah, upload this video. And I'll be doing videos every day until at least Friday, because I don't have to be all self-conscious about my roommate popping out of the room. Because he's out of town. It was too cold to do them outside, and I don't know, I didn't want to do them in my room. And I was just I was just working. I was doing really well. So anyways, what you need to do is go to my website and copy or you could just download the file. Download the Atlantis file from the front page of my website right there and open it on Google Earth because I have it all traced out. And you can see the islands, you can see the inner ring, outer ring, Temple of Poseidon, and the pyramid. Stop being silly. I haven't had a single person acknowledge, except for my mother. But everybody, I told my roommate the first day he moved in, and I couldn't get him to deny, and he's like an astrophysicist. So, anyways, talk to you tomorrow.